just towards Baron.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see a Cadral Jarvan in this game.
No.
If I'm being honest, I think that one will probably not happen.
It will slide to the wayside a little bit. But, ladies and gentlemen, we are onto the Rift for our third and final game of this series between ESL Esports and Diabolus Esports. As we see the same two bands, Talia and Rise, getting taken away. Neither side wants either of them to get it. And actually, the Xayah going to be banned by ESL Esports. They had it last game. They don't want Diabolus to have it this one. Yeah,
I mean, we saw, I believe, was it yesterday or the day before? I can't quite remember. But in the EULCS, in the playoffs, H2K versus Vitality.
That was yesterday.
That was yesterday. Okay, so yesterday, it was a 5-game series, and every single game that was won on the red side. And today, this is a 2-game series so far, and every single team that's won has been on the red side. And now Diabolus is in the red side. So the red team with their whole kind of, you know, branding. And they're also on the red side. So, will it be... Will the trend continue? That is the question. And what do XL want to first pick? That is the second question.
Yeah, well, Caitlyn is available, and we saw that in the first game of the day was left open. So if XL feel like, yep, then you're going to be able to pick it up. And that's a fairly strong one, and actually something that we don't talk about a lot, but is 100% possible in that bot lane. Morgana Caitlyn.
You have. I was just going to say you have to pick Morgana. Yeah. Here. I'm pretty sure Diabolus.
If you want any kind of a semblance of, you know, Smiley having a decent laning phase where he can carry, you have to take away the Morgana right now.
Yeah, I think that giving over Kate Morg is really not smart right now. I don't think that's a good idea at all. Especially when you consider that Morgana offers a lot more to a team comp than just the synergy with Morgana.
But looking at the first pick from Diabolus, generally when you see a Jhin, we see either a Braum or a Tahm Kench. We don't generally see a Morgana because they're the things that can actually save him.
Okay, I'm kind of surprised here because I'm pretty sure Skarner is god-awful into Morgana because he has a spell shield that blocks Skarner. Unless I'm completely missing something here, this seems a little bit peculiar to me.
I suppose they didn't want to give away Skarner, Morgana, and Caitlyn. That's just kind of too much as such.
Yeah, but I feel like if you pick up Morgana from Diabolus' side, it then means you can't pick it yourself. But they're not even. See, I must be missing something here. This one seems like a no-brainer to me, but apparently it's not because they picked up the bronze.
Me as a Silver 2 player, that seems like a no-brainer to me. But yeah, obviously XL and Duel making the joint call. They want the Braum. They don't want the Morgana, which I just feel like, you know, given how well Venzer and Duel played last game, surely you'd want the crazy oppressive lane. But nonetheless, Braum is picked up, so it's going to be a Braum, Caitlyn, and an Olaf picked up for the side of XL. First Olaf of the series.
Yeah, I like that. I like Olaf. We haven't been seeing him, but I think he's a really good Predator jungler. I'd say he's maybe a notch behind the Skarner, but he's still really solid. So, I mean, who?
Peanut on King.
Yeah, he's
disgusting.
Yeah, he's pretty good on Olaf. It's pretty grim. If I know the ESL Premiership though, and I know the Twitch chat, there's a huge discussion right now on the draft. Every time the draft finishes, someone's saying this team trolled, that team trolled.
Yeah, all the coaches get in there.
Yeah, Rifty's a good one. I'm sure, Rifty, you can hear me. I'm sure you can hear me. What do you think about the draft, mate? Not that I can see what you're saying.
Let us know on the YouTube comments. We'll look at them.
But I'm curious. I'm curious because, I don't know. I feel like Morgana would have been really good with Caitlyn and really good against Skarner, but what do I know? Apparently nothing. So we're going to be pinching out the top laners here because we've got jungle and bot lane on both sides. That leaves open mid laner and top laner to take here. So pinch out. It looks like we're pinching out the top laners, which makes sense because we've already banned out 3 of them. Well, Swain's quite a flex pick, but either way, banned out 3. Then you further pinch. If we don't see an Ornn ban here, this is kind of what teams have been defaulting to when there are a lot of top lane bans. You pick up the Ornn. Yeah, but they ban Cho'Gath. So I don't know whether we'll blind pick that necessarily, but there's not a lot honestly going here in the top lane, honestly. So all right, then Larsen's going to get out the Azir. We haven't
another blind pick though.
Another blind pick, but this one's a lot safer.
Yes.
This one's okay. You can run this into a lot of stuff. This one's not too bad. And Azir, we haven't been seeing too much of in the Premiership because teams feel like Azir takes too long to scale. And I honestly feel like XL is a team that's actually quite good at closing out games. So I think that they can punish this Azir pick, and they can make it so the game doesn't go so long that Azir becomes really strong. But the question is, what do you pick into it? Do you go for the Galio? This would be a pretty solid pickup where... Alrighty then.
Okay.
Where you can just play it chill with the Galio, but let's go Zori. That's perfectly fine as well.
Yeah, has been nerf/buffed in recent days, and
I think she's still buffed, right, on this patch.
Yeah, she got nerfed then buffed, so she's nerf buffed.
Yeah.
So not as bad as she originally was, but definitely not as weak as she was. When she got nerfed.
I think she's pretty good, honestly. I think she's quite underrated in this patch. I think once she got her buff, she's pretty strong. So there's the Ornn we were talking about, where at this point, when there are lots of top lane bans, you just kind of default to Ornn. And the question is, what do you pick into it? Is Igloo, are they going to put trust in Igloo like XL put trust in Criminal last game and pick him like the Urgot or something, a matchup where he can win? Or are they just going to slap him on another tank? His Malphite is still open. I'm sure it's like whatever, playing that into Ornn. It might not be the best matchup, but I mean, it seems to be Igloo's fullback comfort pick.
No,
well,
none of the above.
It's still a crappy top lane tank, so lock in a dog champion, do your role, and that's about it.
Hope your Jhin can do crazy amounts of damage. And teams locked and loaded. Final game of this series. After this, we bring in the second best of 3. But this is the important one now. This is the one that I would argue most people wanted to watch. Yeah. Diabolus XL.
For good reason, and we're seeing it. We're seeing why. I mean, this has been a really solid
who came out on top of draft right now?
Oh, man. I honestly quite like XL's draft here. A lot of it hinges on Camille's impact, though, what he can do. But at the same time, I think it was quite smart. Jim Tom Kench is a really solid pickup as a combination, and I have a lot of faith in Larsen's Azir as well. So, I mean, this honestly could go either way. The red side has been in the favor so far for the games. But if you're calling me to make a prediction, you're putting me on the spot. Oh, that's tough. Actually, I don't know. I would go. I'm gonna go for XL because I feel like Diabolus, their team comp takes a little while to kind of really do what they want to do. Yeah. And I think Taxa with his Olaf especially, I think they'll be able to punish that. XL's a good macro team. Good macro teams tend to be able to close games out quite well. We saw that in the last game. Honestly, once XL got the lead, they just basically suffered. Yeah, they just won pretty handedly, honestly. So
yeah, well, like, kind of looking at the two teams, and the mid-game spike from XL, where we've said they've been very, very good at just closing games out in that 25, 30, 32-minute mark. Kate, Braum, Olaf, Zoe, like, there's a lot of power in those picks, especially when you come up to those kind of like 2-item spikes nearing to 3-item spikes. If you get a little bit of an advantage in that bot lane, Kate hits 3 items before your AD carries hit 2. That's a scary situation. However, like we talked about a little bit, the scaling is ridiculous on the side of Diabolus. You've got the Jhin. Once he gets all his crit items, 100% crit chance, he's going to be decimating people. Azir will just slice through people with those soldiers, and you'll always have the pick potential in that kind of like early/late game with the Skarner and the ultimate there. So honestly, if I was to toss it up, I would nearly give it to XL based on momentum of that last game, because the first game was relatively close. Diabolus came out because they kind of overtook in terms of skill. Second game, without putting any nice or nasty words on it, it was just XL. Yeah. It was all XL, and it was, them coming out with the plays and getting the advantages. So Diabolus have to make a change in that play if they want to try and come out with the win.
I have a lot of faith in Taxa as a jungler in general, and I feel like if XL really want to run away with this game, I feel like the best way to do that is to put pressure in the bot lane. This could have been why they've gone more for a Braum than anything else. It could have been because they wanted it into the Jhin, because if you tag Jhin, he dies, basically. Yep. Although the Tom Kench confuses things a little bit there. But either way, Olaf plus Braum in the early game, that combo, with the Caitlyn, if you can actually trigger the Braum passive as well, you trap, you chain CC. Olaf is a great early game jungler. Caitlyn is known for her lane phase power, because she has the range advantage, so she'll push a lot, she'll harass a lot. She's really hard to play against in lane. And she's very good when she gets 4, 5, 6 items as well, because again, she has the range and she has the auto attack. She's really good early, really good late, but she's known to have this mid-game power trough where she's just not that good in the mid-game. because she doesn't have any kind of steroids, any way to really... Tristana, for example, can press Q or something like that. Caitlyn doesn't really have anything. So if it's even in this bot lane, Caitlyn won't be very good in the mid game. And the advantage will go over to Diabolus in that portion of the game. But this is why I was talking about Olaf showing bot side, because he doesn't really want to go top lane on into Maokai. Okay, yeah, that's not going to happen.
Not really going to kill anything there.
Zoe into Azir as well, it's the same thing, where Azir is known as one of the more safer mid laners because he's got the escape and he's got range. And Zoe, yeah, I guess you can set up with Zoe, but either way, she's probably fine just by herself too. So if you can get that Olaf, use his early game power and just run it into the bot lane and just dominate there. You can skip Caitlyn's mid-game power trough by just putting her so far ahead in the early game that she kind of gets past that and actually just starts moving into where she becomes really strong again.
Yeah, well, before we move on from this segment as well, I expect a level 1 invade from XL. Olaf Braum is possibly like the strongest level 1 you can possibly have. Slow, onto slow, onto slow, onto stun. It's definitely something that I want to see. But we do have an in-game pause at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. We will hopefully be onto the Rift very, very soon. But while you're waiting, why not check out the competition we got running for you at the moment? If you go over to esl.pm/lolcomp, you can win yourself a 27-inch AOC gaming monitor. Plenty of ways to enter in that one, and you know, you never know sometimes. You just never know.
And you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Exactly. And sometimes you wish you... It's kind of like a weird one like that, because I always find that Blitzcrank's one of those things of like the fear of the hook is almost better than the hook.
Absolutely. Yo, Blitzcrank has probably been my best champion since like Season 2. I don't know how. I don't even play support. I'm not a support player. I'm a Blitzcrank player. But that's why you just hold on to your hook. That's a rookie mistake on Blitzcrank, is to try and aim it and fire it and grab someone, which is nice, but the threat of the hook.
Yeah, that's the pressure.
That's
where could we find the pressure of your Blitzcrank hooks?
Is that?
It's a shameless plug.
Okay. What is that for the competition still?
No, we're done with the competition.
What's the plug for?
The plug's for your YouTube channel. Where would we find you playing that champion?
Actually, did you know my Twitch channel has a Blitzcrank emote? So you can go and sub to that.
There you go.
You can do a little foxy grab in the chat.
But, ladies and gentlemen, if you did miss any of today's game,
sorry, I was like,
you were off, you were gone, like you weren't even there. But, ladies and gentlemen, if you miss any of today's game, you want to catch up, you want to even see kind of, you know, anything interesting us all or any of the games previously in the ESL Prem, don't forget there are VODs available. If you go to esl.pm/lolvods, you can check out every single game that we've had in the tournament so far, and hopefully you'll be able to catch some really good plays. There were some cracking games over the season.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What was your favorite, if you can remember?
My favorite, I think I would say Godbros, either Godbros to Leah or when Parascree played, I think it was Vlad. I can't remember who, or maybe it was Azir.
I think Azir, I think it was.
Yeah, I would say those were probably my favorite games. I mean, they were just, or maybe when on Misfits, I don't think when Afflict played Rengar and went like 0-7 or something, but his team won.
His team won anyway.
Yeah, that was a good game as well. That was cool.
My favorite one has to be, mainly because I casted it and it was hype as hell, Enclave versus Misfits.
Was that the ending?
That was the ending, where I kind of lost my absolute mind, and my neighbors, as I was casting from the bedroom, were not very happy.
I can imagine that. I saw that. That was oh my goodness. Yeah, the ending to that game was absolutely not. You have to go watch that one. I feel like there have been a few of those with Misfits, though, honestly.
Yeah, like there's definitely been a few close games. Like Misfits have proven that they are arguably the best team in the game, but not by a massive margin. Like it hasn't been like, say, for a perfect example of previous premierships, you know, for the long history the premiership has been going for so many years in the UK scene, the Renegades. When Renegades came in and Renegades were able to just floor with everybody, no one really cares. Like, oh, Renegades are just going to win. But now we're looking at Misfits Academy, and it's kind of like, oh, but they lost to Enclave, and they had a really close game with XL, and they had a really close game with Wind and Rain, and Diabolus had a really close game. It's like all of a sudden the top 4 or 5 teams had really close games against against Misfits, and same with Wind and Rain. Wind and Rain had a couple of hiccups as well, so there's no clear.
And they've lost Godbro now, so
yeah, they've lost Godbro, so that could be an interesting finals. And
yeah, I think any of the top 4 teams, or maybe even top 5, I'm being basically anyone in the playoffs. Except one team.
Who would that team be?
But honestly, that may sound kind of harsh, but I mean, just looking at the way they've played this season, I think those teams on any given day can take a series from anyone else. I mean, Diabolus right now are close to taking it away from XL. XL close to taking it to Diabolus, but Diabolus lost to Enclave. But Enclave have also beaten Misfits.
Yeah.
And Wind and Rain, they haven't looked unassailable either, and they've lost arguably their best player. Like, it is really close. I would have to say, you know, Misfits going into the semi-finals in a few weeks, Misfits are looking like favourites, but they've definitely had their weaknesses, and they've not been clean. I definitely wouldn't describe Misfits, even though their record is pretty solid, 9-1, they've not been clean, and if teams figure them out, yeah, that could be pretty scary. But having said that, it will be a best of 5 at that point, I think it is.
Best of 5. I will get confirmation of that for you soon. But, ladies and gentlemen, we have an extended pause at the start of this game. So hopefully when we come back, we'll have the answer to that question and also have a game for you. So we're going to go to a quick break, and we'll be back very, very shortly. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be bringing you Game 3 of XL versus Diabolus in their best of 3 playoffs. Qualifier as such to the finals in 2 weeks' time, and we're just waiting on players. There was a blood splash and there was a couple of little small issues, but I think we're going into game.
There we are. Alright, last game of the series, game numero 3.
Look at those health bars. Crazy.
What are you calling? Diabolus or XL?
I'm sticking with my guns, even though we had a 5-minute break. I think XL got this. I think XL are, you know, that's probably the corniest way I can pull it. I think they will excel in this particular thing, and I think Diabolus will be living in hell. But and I can swap it the other way. It's a perfect analogy.
All right. Yeah. Well, Tax has got a nice pink shirt on, so that gives him the benefit right there. +1 to him. Skarner's just got some, like...
His axes, like... I know they're obviously, like, supposed to be cardboard because he's, like, a super fan and stuff like that, but they look genuinely, like, fragile and frail.
Yeah, which is a bit weird considering he just whacks people around the head with them. You'd think they would break. Then he'd start stabbing. Be like when you play old RuneScape and you go from a slash to a stab to change from the strength stat to the attack stat.
Yeah. I never played RuneScape.
Well,
we didn't have great internet in Ireland for a very long time, and RuneScape was not something I could play.
Well, to be fair, I'm hoping what I just said was correct, because I haven't played it since I was like 13. So yeah, it's been a bit of a while, but either way, that was then. This is now.
Now you play League of Legends.
Now I play.
Now you cast League of Legends.
And I make RuneScape references.
Yeah. Hashtag sponsors. But pretty standard start for both junglers. You see both starting off on the bot side of the jungle, then rotating up.
2 minion dematerializers coming out of Diabolus here, which I think is quite smart because they don't have good ways to deal with a banner minion if it comes through.
What did Oren buy?
Nothing.
Yeah, he seems to have bought like the rejuvenation pot, but that's about it.
He must be saving up for his passive here, but I don't know what he's going to buy first. There must be something very specific here. Sometimes you see Ornn start with like a health crystal, and then as soon as they can afford it, they'll go for the catalyst, because you can't actually buy a sustain with Ornn passive. You can't buy... Okay, he generally just forgot to buy it because it's just bought a torrent shield. Sometimes they go for the... you can't buy sustain, but catalyst gives you some sort of sustain because you get it whenever you level up.
Yeah, and actually we're seeing a little bit of a change in pace coming out now as Cagel's the one being aggressed on top of. Taxer using the early game Olaf, those undertows with the extra slow, a little bit of damage. You can spam them as well when you recollect them. Cagel not having a fun time at all, and Larson under pressure as well as Kremel just tries to keep that jungle pressure in his jungler's favor.
Maybe Linkin Park should write a song about Cagel because he's just caught in the undertow, I don't know if anyone's really going to get like a huge amount of reference out of that because it's not a super well-known. I reckon I'm going to get a fair amount of.
Yeah, you'll get all the edgelords.
Yeah, I mean I'm pretty sure if we're gamers in either late teens, early 20s, we probably all had some kind of emo phase.
Not even just that. I'd say there's like a million. Like I remember from like years ago. Well, I used to love the montages of the Linkin Park. You know, it's just you were like, this is the most hypey thing ever. And
speaking of hypey things ever.
Yeah, it could be. Igloo getting jumped on, does get knocked out. Actually, Cadril forcing the flash out of Taxer. Predator was popped.
Oh,
guess the flash does flash, and that could be an first blood, and it is going over to Cadril. Zendo now also forced a flash. All the top lane flash and the jungler flashes burned, but it is Cadril who picks himself up first blood again on this Skarner.
The quadra flash right there. A lot of that coming down because Cadril had the early Predator. Right, and smiting away Larson.
I got really confused for half a second. I was like, how the hell? And I was like, oh.
How did she even pick that up though? Must have been like Olaf jungling or something.
Pretty sure Olaf went up on that top side was when he took the raids, or the raptors even.
The chickens.
The big chickens.
Alright, but this is kind of the opposite of what we're used to in any sort of Olaf matchup. Olaf wins the early matchup, but he's still pretty swishy early. So you get collapsed on, you die. Good start for Diabolus here, and also a nice start for Cadril specifically, because last game you touched on it, but last game really was not Cadril's game. And he did not have much impact at all, and was kind of getting done in by the Nidalee a little bit. So starts the game off on the right foot here for him, gets the early first blood. Beautiful stuff.
Yeah, still behind in farm, but that kill definitely makes up for it. As we see bot lane, Venzer and Duel. Not actually ahead, they're actually behind by a little bit in this lane. The Tab Kenshin Jin doing fairly well. Both AD carries going with Doran's Shield, which tends to be the standard nowadays.
Keeping it chill, keeping it safe. It is a bit surprising that Caitlyn isn't able to really pressure the Jin out of lane here, but then again, there is a minion dematerializer here. 2 of those have already gone down, which does help a little bit with being pushed in. And one of the big benefits of having the Caitlyn Morgana, which we were surprised to not see out of this draft, is having 2 ranged champions in that bot lane. And the ranged support always helps with the push, whereas the melee support's not so good at doing that. But they also bring other benefits, which we're not quite seeing yet, but we will see later on, I'm sure. And we're seeing Sendu get chased down from the top lane, having to run away, and Larson has finally caught a whiff for this one, but it's a little bit too late.
Yeah, had ultimate as well, so the Emperor's Divide could have been used. We could have seen a flash into the kind of shifting sands, possibly, but you don't want to risk it as well because Zoe and Olaf weren't too far away. So
Sendu has his ult as well, though. He's looking to try and do something here.
Yeah, has a ward on him, though, so they know exactly what's going on, and he's just wasting time. And as I say that, Cadril going to find himself Taxer and bounce himself away to safety.
Well, he's not done yet, though. He wants to go for more. This could be a little bit tricky here with Tahm Kench already rotating. And Venzer and Duel are on their way, but they're not quite here. So we'll see whether Exley Smiley decides to move at all. If he doesn't, then this could just be, I think this could just be a free blue buff going over to Excel. Yep, Larson just went, he just shuffled his way back into his tower, so the very best here, we're going to get steal out of Cadril.
I don't think it can, though, as Smiley has rotated back up. They're getting the stacks there onto the Caitlyn. Exhausted go down. Cadril taking a lot of harass. There's the Devour. Igloo is here. TP's a little bit late from the Ornn, and that's a good heal there on the Taxer. Now Larson under some serious pressure. He flashes. He cleanses. He still goes down. The Olaf as well. So it's a 1-for-1 trade. Sendu trying to jump in onto Hado. Will he be able to get him? Oh, so close. Prem flashes over to get another flash. They're not done just yet. They're trying to jump in on the Cadril, but they've got so much damage. There's Maokai coming back in with the last little bit of his mana. Venzer's not really contributing anything to this, and all in all, the blue buff is still alive.
The blue buff is still alive. I feel like that was a bit of a risky one to go in for as Diabolus. Bloody, I can't speak. But that was tough because Larson had already used his mobility spells to dodge Criminal's poke there. You saw on the mini-map that he shuffled back out just as that fight really was starting, so Larson wasn't able to do too much. He actually goes down there as well. Fortunately for Diabolus and a bit unfortunately for Excel, the TP was early from Igloo and late from Sendu. I honestly feel like that could have gone a lot worse for Diabolus there. If that was played slightly better from Excel, I feel like there was potential there for that one to have been pretty explosive. I'm really struggling to speak.
Yeah, it's a very early start, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
The last game took a lot out of us, and it was a long fight, you know. Don't be worrying about it. Take a chill pill, you know.
I want to see what Criminal does this game as well, because I like that he's being put on more of a proactive champion again. They didn't just look at his first game and think, you know what, mate, just sit back and do your thing and just play around us. Nope, they stuck him on Talon last game, which wasn't the most successful, but it worked, honestly. And in this game, he's now on the old Zoe. All right, just going to recoil in plain sight there.
Hard to stop a recall even when
from the
Prem.
Build,
yeah, definitely a lot more frustrating.
Good luck with that one. I'm going to do a spinny round in my chair here.
Get yourself more comfortable. Set yourself up for a long haul. While you're doing that, we're actually going to see Cadril starting up the Mountain Drake, and that's a pretty good early Drake. And Cadril's always been pretty decent so far this series on getting those early objectives. Bot lane just went back. There's no pressure from the Caitlyn. Unless someone roams up now, there's no real reason why the side of XL should know that this is going down. And it looks like it's going to be a pretty free objective as mid lane was pushed in. Azir comes down for extra security. That's going to be a 10-minute Dragon picked up by Diabolus, and they got themselves set up for a 5 Drake stack if they so choose.
It's a very nice Mountain Dragon as well. You might not be expecting that one if you're XL, because XL Smiley had recently recalled, and it's quite unlikely to go for Dragon without getting it back.
Flash into the Impale. There's the Braum ultimate. Venzer doesn't really have a way out with no summoners after that last fight, and Smiley picks himself up his first kill of the game. We talk about the importance of that first level 6 usage from Skarner, and he makes it count in the lane that we know Diabolus wanted to work.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you fall behind when you're playing Caitlyn, we mentioned about the mid-game power trough for Caitlyn. Early is good lane phase, but they're not the... Oh, the cheeky Sleepy Trouble Bubble.
The Sleepy Trouble Bubble means that Hado is going to get CC'd up. And as I say that, though, Smiley gets slowed up as well. There's the Ragnarok coming in as well, and Smiley will drop. Taxer picking that one up. Exhaust goes down, but here comes Larson and Cadril. Taxer just not able to do anything after initially getting that kill. Hado gets out alive despite being the one they aggressed upon, and that ends up being a 2-for-1 trade in favor of Diabolus. They're looking strong so far in this early game.
And the best thing about that, as far as Diabolus is concerned, not only do you get an extra kill there, but you also don't concede any strength over to the Caitlyn, because she wasn't even there. So she doesn't get any kills, she doesn't get any assists, she wasn't around. So that, as far as XL is concerned, is going to be a bit troubling this game, because if Caitlyn falls too far behind here, then she's going to be on the back foot until she has 3 items, basically, which is a pretty long time to just have to chill and stall, and I don't really think you want to chill and stall versus Diabolus. So far, I would say that Taxer hasn't been able to put down the pressure as much as he wanted to, hasn't been as effective as he would have liked, but they are going for the old Rift Herald here. Maokai just puts the sapling down above it, almost spotted it out, but didn't quite. And Cadril with nowhere to be seen. There should be a free Rift Herald for XL.
Yeah, trading objectives, so that should arguably be about 1,000 gold worth of stats or worth of investment going in, as you know, you can take a turret with the Rift Herald, potentially more, but usually just the one.
Basically just a tower, yeah. The double, oh look at that. The double control ward in that bot lane bush, just in case you weren't 100% sure it was warded.
Yep, now Cadril can go back. With total knowledge, no one knows where he is.
You know, if you put 2 standard wards down, it acts as a pink ward, right? What happens when you put 2 pink wards down?
They last forever.
Is that what happens?
Yeah, they're unkillable. They're like Tam Kench ulti or Zanya's all the time.
There's some kind of avian creature that mates for life. Is it a penguin?
No, penguins are actually the worst. Penguins cheat on their partners all the time, apparently. The most unfaithful of birds, apparently.
There's some kind of bird that mates for life. That's the image I'm getting when I see those pink wards. Just chilling there, they're together, they're happy, and apparently, according to you, they last forever.
Yeah. That is not true, but...
Well, you said it now. I'm holding it to it. That's always the excuse, at least when I put down... When you ward a bush, and then your teammate wards it at the same time, then you're like, oh, don't worry, that's just a pink ward now.
It's just a pink ward.
I'm not sure how much that actually works, but hey. It's not like I'm here to make sense or anything, right? I'm just.
That's not your job. You're not to know these things. You just have to know these things. But look how long now. They're going to get one of those pink ones. They can't get both.
They should just leave that one Sorry, it's miserable.
But they can't see. Like, they can't actually get both. That's how long it took them. Strategy, thinking ahead.
Maybe it made the first one tankier. That's why it took so long to die.
Tam Kench is actually just like a romantic, and he's just like, no! You ruined a beautiful thing.
There's definitely an image we could paint there, but I think we should move on.
We got some Sharpies.
I wasn't talking about a literal image, mate. Something about, you know what? Let's talk about top lane.
Oh. No, there's a pause. Nothing to talk about at this point. But as we get into about 14 minutes in the game, we do apologize for the pause, but it is Diabolus with the slight lead, just under 1,000. Feeling pretty good with those kills, but with that many kills, you should have a little bit more pressure, I feel.
A little bit more pressure.
Just a little bit. Not call them out, not crazy shading, but, you know, crazy shading, but like a little bit more. It seems that they've kind of taken their foot off the gas a tiny bit in the last 2 or 3 minutes. Yeah,
I think it's one of those things where you're in game 3, right? So neither team wants to... You want to try really hard to stem the bleeding and not force things when you're not as strong as you could be, should be, whatever. But even if you're ahead, it's like... Okay, don't throw it at this point, you know. So teams will be giving a lot of respect here. Good to see we had the kitten and not the tiger. A little pause, no big pause.
That was beautiful. That was amazing. But little pause or not, we're going to see Rifty now as the next big thing to go down.
And is that first one tower? That is first one. Oh, it's a TP from Igloo.
Double TP though. There's 2 of them coming in as we see that now. Skarner is off on the backside as well, unstoppable, but Taxer has no support whatsoever. The rest of his team had to back away from the Maokai that was jumping in. Mid laners just didn't arrive, and except for Zoe, who's now here for some reason, but does land the Drowsy, but there's no real follow-up, and that's a big misplay. Taxer overreaching, giving up a free kill, and they don't get the tower they were looking for.
That play was basically a 4v4 with both mid laners being in spawn, but we're going to get more here.
Yeah, Haddo does get the grey help pop as the rest of the side of Diabolus are coming in, but they will be able to stop him from getting any kind of protection down onto the Jhin. Igloo now flashed away, but he does get stunned. He will not be able to aggress any further. Azir, though, while all this is happening, Larson picks up first tower. Diabolus making an advantage of a little bit of a misplay coming out from XL. They do lose 2 people, though.
I think that's still worth it.
For XL?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they've equaled up the gold, I suppose.
Yeah, you lose the first blood tower, but you still get a tower, and you get 2 kills to boot. So.
And a load of summoners.
Yeah, I think that's cool. And I would honestly argue that there's a lot to say about the morale involved in a play like this. If you're just getting your ass kicked and you're dropping like flies left, right, and center, and especially Taxer must be pretty blooming tilted. He's going a bit too much.
66% of your team's kills so far.
He's yeah, I don't know. He's going a bit too ham right now. And at this point, especially considering what this game means and the importance of this game, I would say that it's difficult to keep your nerve in a game like this. When stuff like that is happening with Taxer, where he's just going in, he's not really using his brain, he's just going really hard. I mean, he is playing Olaf, so that, you know, it's kind of a prerequisite for playing that champion.
Yeah, you don't use your brain.
Yeah, just switch it up there.
Q, 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 Q.
Oh, that's the Predator pop, though. They're going for this one.
Yeah, they're going for the top side. Taxer and Kremel both up top side. Jhin has to back away, and that's going to be another tower. And honestly, even with Vision, it just means that you don't die, but you still lose the tower, because with the Zoe and the Olaf able to rush up that top side so quickly with the Predator and with Zoe just having kind of, you know, decent long-range engage, you have to respect that and you have to back away. So, yes, fair enough, you didn't die on the side of Diabolus and you saw it, but you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, and still losing the tower, that's fine for XL. XL will be happy with that. We talked about Caitlyn's being kind of weak at this stage of the game. That mostly pertains to her ability to fight. She doesn't really want to fight right here, but she's still good at pushing down towers. She's good at pushing down minion waves, so why not go for a push with her? And I feel like it's a bit late, but Taxer has started to play around the Kate Braum a bit more here. I mean, to be fair, he's done it before, but it's, you know, been suboptimal execution. Can I call it that?
Yeah, well, we won't call that flame. That's
no, that's not flame.
Analysts. That's analytics, but another Drake going over to Diabolus, most likely here. There's going to be a Cloud.
That is a pretty good call, actually. And that is the benefit of Skarner here. When you have your Spires, you nick these things pretty fast. So that's exactly what he's done. And that's 2 dragons, like you say, a cloud and a mountain. The cloud's slightly less useful than the mountain, but ooh, this could be greedy pathing. Cagewell does have his flash.
Ooh, Cagewell does have flash, but he gets so much damage just off the bat of that, and then really not able to kind of defend this as well. It's going to be down to the rest of the side of Diabolus. There's a slow. Call of the Four Gods does not actually hit. The Braum ultimate didn't hit.
A lot of cooldowns though.
Yeah, there's the Jhin ultimate. But the Braum one, or Braum Unbreakable, going to be able to negate all of that. So all in all, it was a bit of a fireworks show where realistically a load of things happened, but overall nothing
happens. Yeah. I feel like that was a pretty good call to engage though when you see the Tahm Kench gobble on cooldown.
Yep. Because
then who's going to save the Ornn target? Or who's going to save whoever gets caught by the Drowsy from Zoe? So not a bad call to engage. It didn't quite work out.
Did she just pick up a Hextech Proto Belt?
Apparently she's got a Proto
God
Belt.
damn it. No, she had the active.
Yeah, that's what I mean from the W. She got a Proto Belt from...
That's
just
so stupid.
I mean, fortunately for the spectator, well, spectator, I say anyone playing versus Zoe, I should say. Fortunately, it was only a Proto Belt at a time when she was pushing a lane down.
Yep.
The worst feeling was when she would get like a Redemption or a GLP.
In the middle of a fight.
An early game, like you gank her and then she like level, really early levels and she just Redemptions or something like that. It's just, man, she was so frustrating to play against when she'd get really like high impact stuff. Not to mention the TP obviously, which was like, yeah, getting a free TP was absolutely busted. Either way, those things have been fixed.
It would be really cool if she like got items that were no longer in the game.
Oh, that would be kind of cool.
Like she got like a Deathfire Grasp or something.
Oh god,
like,
can you imagine Zoe with Deathfire Grasp?
But like it'd just be like a nice hark back to a load of different things.
Maybe
like,
you should get like Twisted Tree Line items.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Not that I know what any of those are, but there are some there.
Taxer does find himself in mid lane, throws out an axe, but misses Smiley. But Woglet's Death Cap is the Rabadon.
Wooglets, yeah.
Wooglets, not Woglet.
It has, it's like Zonya's plus Death Cap in one item.
Pretty much. It's a pretty weird one. I don't know. I actually don't know anyone who plays Twisted Tree Line anymore. It's ARAM or Summoner's Rift. Basically.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Dominion.
What about Ascension? Ascension's so good.
Ascension's alright. I'm not really one for the special game modes, honestly.
Same. Not a fan of it. I like playing Standard League and
lose LP and ranked. It's more my jam.
Like how Jat says on the Dive podcast, he always says that like Summoner's Rift is like the basketball court or the the football pitch. It's the place you play it. It's just how you play it that makes it fun to watch. But
that's fair.
We deviated from the path that is this game, and nothing's really happening. Azir took a turret in top side, but again not super instrumental in the kind of what's going on.
You can do it.
Oh, I love how
look at that synchronized.
The synchronization is great. And he goes down. Ornn. Oh! I forgot that it exploded into like little mini ones that kind of freaked me out. But now that the kind of, banner of commands are being picked up, Maokai and Ornn are going to struggle, as we just saw, to take them out. It's going to be on the kind of the back of the likes of the Jhin and the Caitlyn to take those away. But this is honestly just fine for the side of XL. They're able to get Caitlyn up to her 2 items. Not super 3-item spike, but still better than sitting on the makings of an IE. Yeah. You've got, the Zoe who had to rush that Quicksilver Sash, now has a Ludens, so that will be a little bit of damage in the back pocket. A lot of little small things being built up for the side of XL, and Diabolus aren't far behind at all, but they just need to be aware that they don't want to end up in those situations where they're kind of fighting in power spikes for the other side.
Yeah, at this point in the game, you really don't want to go anywhere near Larson, especially if you're XL, because the advantage he has over Krimmel is pretty big, and that's not really Krimmel's fault. Krimmel, I feel like, has been roaming more than Larson. Either way, the way it stands right now, he is like 50 CS down, and the fact that he's had to itemize into a Sash also means he's not only 50 CS down, he's 50 CS down, plus the cost of having to buy the Sash, right? Which is the benefit of picking the suppression champion on the enemy team. You can do that. So whereas you're staring down the barrel of a 2.5 item gun in Larson, you're not quite. You're looking at like the what's it called, the butt of the gun on Zoe. Just gonna. You kind of
it's not even assembled yet. It's like on in pieces on the table. The pieces are there, but they're not working together as of yet. So
yeah, she's a little bit weak compared to Azir, and I feel like they've got a nice poke comp at least where if they want to win a team fight, especially at this stage of the game, if Zoe gets some poke down, that's going to be good. But the Jhin gank in the bot lane.
Yeah, Jhin coming in. Igloo does pop the ultimate, but it's going to be a little bit too slow unless he can get the grasp. As I say that, here comes the rest of the side of XL, and oh, Smiley. Woo. He ain't smiling no more, and Igloo is going to find himself on the grey screen. Eventually, you would imagine, as he does eventually take a very, very, very long time with his passive, and he does fall. Taxer finally picking up a kill for himself using that Olaf, and these are the things that kind of we talked about a little bit, you know, kind of between the games as such, as we see, you know, kind of these little mistakes coming in, but it's not as if, you know, XL are being punished for chucking 3 people down bot. No one on the side of Diabolus was moving. No one was making a proactive play. So that's actually pretty much a free win if you're on the side of XL, because there's no repercussions for, you know, kind of pushing that many people down there.
It's just questionable why you didn't even go for that play, honestly, if you're Diabolus. Like, there's... I mean, you're trying to kill an Ornn, really? With Maokai and
at
Jhin?
This stage of the game?
That just seems a little bit unnecessary. I mean, you always know, even if you do kill him, it's going to take you some time. You know that's a fact, that's a guarantee. So you have to respect the potential of the time that it takes for you to kill him is time for the enemy team to rotate down to you. And that's basically what happened. They rotated down and 2 free kills, and XL's happy with that one. Because the closer this Caitlyn gets to her 3 items, the more XL can start playing a bit more proactive. As right now, Caitlyn's basically just picking up minion waves and kind of getting towards that 3rd item. She's gone for the slash as well, so harder for her to get caught out of position. And we did see Skarner have that early game impact over the Olaf, which was a bit surprising, but it's going to be very hard if the enemy team has started picking up sashes and you're sitting on Skarner like, gosh, who do I ult now? I can't ult Olaf, I don't want to ult Ornn, and I don't want to ult Braum. That's basically it. You're very limited in that sense. It's tricky.
It's very tricky.
Oh, here we go. Oh, gosh.
No, here we go. That's actually going to be a zoning ultimate there from the Ornn. That's going to mean the mid tower. Taxer running in, and that's the power you have. You'd almost kind of nearly expect that from the side of Diabolus, but Ornn just does, you know, the kind of combo with the jungler better than the Maokai can, so they can push those advantages, push the threat. We talked about it. The threat of an engage is sometimes far better than the actual engage.
I mean, you saw Taxer running at you with his Righteous Glory, his Predator. Your first instinct is probably going to be run from that. You know, just get away from that thing. Why is that thing getting so close to me? And in that situation, that buys you enough time, if you're XL, that you can just go for the tower. That's exactly what they did. Free tower there, quite smart. And using the ultimate from Ornn as well isn't a huge deal because, I mean, are you really looking to... I mean, firstly, it's almost up again. Look at his CDR. But secondly, it's fine. You're playing a chill game anyway. You don't need that ultimate up in the next, you know, minute and a half. But, ooh, Skarner's waiting in the wings here. He's been spotted out. Never mind.
He was looking to try and make a play, has got Flash, has got his Predator and his ultimate available. We see there the Legacy of Shurima Tower bop down into mid lane. The rest of the side of Diabolus just trying to use that to reset, get themselves some items. We actually see the Haunting guys turned into a Liandry's Torment there by the Azir just there. Jhin sitting on 3 items. We're seeing kind of like two and 2 halves, if you like, for the Caitlyn and Venzer. So they're actually definitely feeling a little bit better coming into these mid-game fights. 26.5 minutes just over. This is just, it's just handbags bot side. Like, the 2 of them are just going to be able to push a wave, push back a wave, push a wave, push back a wave. It's never going to end until we see something like a Jhin running at them randomly and everyone else joining in.
Yeah, these Banner of Commands coming down really early. It's the most poetically useless thing I've seen in my life. It's like if I had a 6th toe on my right foot.
Would that not be really bad for your balance?
It's just pointless, yeah. Like, I mean, Ornn and Maokai take 10 years to whack those things down. And they're not pushing anything because, you know, it's just, yeah, right now these banners are just not getting anything done. But to be fair, it's kind of like, if the other person gets it, you have to get it as well, sort of, because you're now spending 10,000 years killing the Banner of Command minion.
Let's
forget that. Let's talk about Baron.
Let's talk about Baron right now because
no,
Diabolus have no idea that it's going on. Zoe isn't there. They have dropped the ward. Now they know it's going down. They don't have pure vision of it though just yet. Cage will pops the Predator. Gonna see if he can do something. Righteous Glory has been used as well. Jhin ultimate to try and start up this fight. I think it's just going to be a standard disengage coming out from the side of XL. Hado eats himself up a Cadril and then backs away. But I like the initiation or the kind of the initial thought from XL. Try and just kind of put down that trap line, burn a couple of ultimates, burn a couple of actives, then reset the fight because they've burnt nothing.
Yeah, absolutely nothing, unless you count the Braum on Breakball or something.
Which I think probably up now anyway.
I think we could give them the old benefit on that one. But yeah, this is what XL is really good at doing, and this is where you can really see the coaching come down and the whole kind of gaming house culture and the resources that XL as an organization have put into their team is they're really good at doing these kind of plays, and their macro, I would argue throughout this whole series, XL has been the better macro team. It's a close series because Diabolus are very strong players. They're good players. They certainly got their money. That's not the phrase. They got something cut out for them. But either way, XL being able to put up this much of a fight and be in a position where they're going to look to try and take the whole series comes off the back of their macro play.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see there Dragon, or Baron, I should say, started off on the backside. There's going to be no real kind of way of looking into this apart from face checking. Igloo does face check into Cromel, but he's fairly tanky. There's the Drowsy knocking down. Bot lane is going to go down, but now we see them re-engage. They're going to try and jump onto Smiley. He gets eaten up, but then knocked up. It's going to be forcing the flash out of Hado. There is the Maokai, but look at Larson off onto the backside. He's trying to do so much. Sendo just tanking up as much as he possibly can. Now the Jhin ultimate can rain down on this XL parade. He won't be able to get any of the low health bars. It will just be Igloo going down for one. There's so many tanky members on both sides. XL, though, they got the kill. They did lose bot lane turret, though, to the push. Yes,
they lost the bot lane tower. So all in all, that's actually pretty good for Diabolus. But we're going to get an Infernal Dragon spawning here. This one should go over to XL as well. That whole fight, it was a decent engage from XL. But you know what? I don't think I can talk about this fight. I think there's something else going on here.
Yeah, and TP is available for Cromel. He's going to start channeling that just now. There's the Scuttle going over to Diablo, so they get the extra little bit of speed.
No Igloo. This is
no Igloo. Oh, and Cadril gets chunked, so that's going to be a pretty big one there. They're still trying to keep the Dragon procced, but it's just regenning a little bit. Now Cadril, or sorry, not now Cadril, now Igloo is back. Igloo going to try and TP in, see what he can do here. This Infernal Drake could be absolutely massive to both sides. They both want it, but now Sendu has his ultimate back up. Call of the Force God comes in, knocks up too. That is a great ultimate to stop Cadril from doing anything at all. And it ends up being an Infernal Drake and Baron going, or no Baron, sorry, just Infernal Drake going over to the side of XL. But now Baron's back on the cards.
You can see the communication. Are they actually going to go for this one?
I think they have to, be honest with you. They can take this really quickly.
I don't think they'll go for that. No, okay. Can I talk about stuff, please, Diabolus? Can I just, you know...
No, you can't.
Oh, I can't. All right. You play your video game. I'll just sit here looking pretty.
Now you can. I think it's done.
So what I wanted to highlight on that Dragon play there is the communication coming through from XL, which is a stark contrast from the way they played the first game, if you can even cast your mind back those 10,000 years, as it seems now, where... That fight around the Baron, if you remember when it was the Kog'Maw composition that XL was running, where they didn't protect Venza because two people, Sendu and Krimmel, both tried to zone out the enemy jungler. They get collapsed on, they lose their team, and that whole kind of thing just spirals into them losing the whole game. That Dragon there was much better execution because you could see the entire XL squad stopped hitting the Dragon, and then Sendu puts down his Call to the Forge Gods, smacks it towards Cadril, and as soon as he does that, the whole team starts DPSing Dragon again. Just really smart communication, and it's little things like that, that if you're a coach of XL, you've got to be sitting there watching this and be pretty proud of your team, you know, because it's those little things that make a big difference, but it's also those little things that can be quite hard to execute, especially in a game like this where it's game 3, you know, it's game 3, there's so much on this game, and sometimes you just... little things like that fall through the cracks, you know. But good on XL for keeping their composure.
Yeah, XL, though, they've delayed it out a little bit. It's at 32 minutes. Now we see triple crit items onto the Caitlyn. She's past that mid-game lull. She's got some serious damage and can shred through people alongside the Quicksilver Sash as well to keep her safe. Not only that, though, Lichbane Ludens now for Zoe. It's kind of equaled as such by the Nashor's Tooth and the Seraph's Embrace. And the Leandri, so Azir definitely feeling a lot better. But that's, here we go. There's going to be the call of the Forge God. Going to knock up 2. Igloo just going to pop down his ultimate as a disengage. They're trying to keep going onto this. There's a good Legacy of Shurima turret there in the mid lane that stops any kind of further engagement. But by the time that goes down, we're going to see ultimates come back up. And that's when things get serious. And you can see right now, again, it's XL making the, you know, aggressive moves, making the proactive plays, while Diabolus are just trying not to die.
I really want to highlight just how stellar Criminal's playing on this Zoe and how much of an impact he's having on his whole game. The poke that he's getting down, especially those Sleepy Bubble Trouble, whatever the blue nail that thing's
Sleepy
called.
Bubble Trouble.
Thank you. The Drowsy. It's really tearing through Diabolus, but this could be... Oh gosh, this is going to be a 50-50 Baron in Game 3 of the playoffs.
They look like they're just chucking. Look at all the wards. They just want to see exactly what health it's on. Cadril has got flash. He may go for it. It's at 3,000 health. This is great stalling coming out from XL, but will they be able to get it? They've stopped it, actually. They've completely stopped the Baron altogether, so there's going to be no 50-50 as Sendu jumps in onto Igloo, and that's going to be the rest of the team jumping in. But Paxter pops his ultimate and said, let's party, and we're going to go in. Larsen's been caught. He's absolutely 100% isolated. Smiley's trying to do as much damage as he possibly can, but there's only so much a Jin can do. Igloo playing, trying to keep his team in this alive as possible. Igloo, though, taking so much damage. One more auto attack would have done it, but not quite able to do it. There's the Drowsy. No, Igloo! Igloo jumps in. He actually knocks Cremel away, and he dies. Oh my God, Smiley missing the root. Not from his own fault, but from his teammate. It's a 3-for-1. That fight was so close.
That was so nothing. What a brilliant... I love League of Legends. Yeah. The finest League of Legends in the whole UK.
They're back on Baron. Thank you.
And the big purple worm, there it is. It rears its ugly head. This one should go down to XL. No contest coming through from Diabolus here. I don't know whether Diabolus just want to give this one up or whether they didn't think XL would go for it. They were pretty low, but either way, what a fight that was.
Wow.
That was a corker.
I want to see how quickly XL turned and got on top of Larsen, because Larsen was gone in that fight very quickly.
Yeah, so here's the... This starts with Cadel flashing in and just, I don't know, he flashed in and then was like, okay, and he dies. But then Larsen's sitting in his office right here where he goes to work, but as soon as he tries to do something, he whacks down the auto attacks with the soldiers and he gets popped. And then it's kind of a fight on two fronts here. We are seeing Smiley really struggle to get through the front line, which is a big criticism of Jin in general. He's not good at doing that. So the front line doesn't die. Loads of crazy stuff happens, and even more crazy stuff happens because Cadrill's caught again.
Cadrill, they're going to actually burn the TP as well now. Haddo's in a lot of trouble, and they're going to see if they can keep going on top of this. There is the Demacia going in. The Ragnarok. Haddo takes a lot of damage. There's the Drowsy gone down. The Sleepy Bubble Trouble acting as a trap. Now they can look for maybe a little bit more. Igloo taking a huge amount of damage, heals up a good bit from it. But XL look large. XL look in charge. And XL are pushing up into Diabolus. It's looking very dire for the Demons in the red.
Large and in charge? I like that. It sounds like something you'd have in a bio on a dating website.
Oh, God.
Where you'd also put something like, you know, cuddle-sized or fun-sized.
Seem very well-versed in this in this field.
Low self-esteem.
Oh.
I'm only joking. Of course. We're all good people here in the UK and Ireland Premiership.
I like how you have to force yourself to remember.
It's tricky because it's like...
Because you guys think we're part of you.
Yeah, sort of. It's like... UK has Northern Ireland in it, so to me that's Ireland. But you know what? Our
producer is trying to trigger me, but I have not got time to be triggered as we are going into a fight over the Elder Drake. Both teams have 2 buffs. Diabolus need to keep this away from XL though, because with the Baron buff and double Infernal, this would be absolutely massive. TP on the backside. Sendo coming in, dragging down to about 1400 HP. They're going to get it, but it's stolen away, and it's going to be a decimation. XL clean up house. Diabolus have nowhere to go, nowhere to hide, and it's going to be straight up mid lane to end the game and take the series.
Only 2 people left, Larson and Smiley. If this Baron doesn't last very long... Oh, the stop the recalls. This is huge. This could be massive right here. Baron is about 3/3 complete right here. I reckon... Larson
killed him! Duel killed him! It's done! It's over! And that is going to be Diabolus crashing out XL, coming up big when they needed it to happen. It was a dodgy early game 1. It was a really good game 2. And all in all, after everything is said and done, XL take the series 2-1.
What a series that was.
Wow.